Welcome to the September 3rd City Council meeting. I am Gina Louise Shera, and I will be presiding this evening. The audio and video recorded. We will begin, as always, with public comment. If you know that you wish to make a comment, please use the raise hand feature. To raise your hand, you click on participants in the horizontal menu bar at the bottom of the screen. A column will open with the participants of the meeting. The raise hand feature is at the bottom of the column. If you're calling in by phone, you can raise your hand by hitting *9. If you're having trouble raising your hand, you may use the chat feature to send a message to me. I will do my best to monitor that for people having technical difficulties. But that's the only purpose for which we'll use that function, and it'll only be used during public comment. I will unmute each raised hand one by one and ask if you'd like to make a comment. When you begin, please state your name and your city or town for the public record. To ensure everyone has equal opportunity to speak, we ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes. After 3 minutes, I will ask you to please finish your sentence. According to the council rules, we do not respond during public comment as it is your time to speak. So while your comments should be directed to us, you'll understand when we don't respond. You may speak on any topic. It doesn't need to be an item on the agenda. But due to the size of the meeting, and that is public and how Zoom functions, all participants will need to be muted until called upon. I also ask that all but the council turn off your video until you're called upon, as comments are directed to the council. Only the person recognized has the floor. We'll do our best to act quickly if someone is clearly acting in a way that is inappropriate or deploying profanity or slurs or displaying something outside of what one would expect in council chambers. And I will remove anyone that needs to be removed from the meeting. If you don't wish to make a comment, we ask that you watch on YouTube, on channel 15, or by streaming on Northampton Open Media's YouTube channel or their other platforms. The recording of this meeting will be available at Northampton Open Media's Government Video Archive channel on YouTube, and I thank them as always for that access. I'll remind people that we're always happy to receive comments by email, which are equally part of the public record. So please email us at citycouncil@northamptonma.gov. So we are going to start with public comment, and the first name that I see is Amy Cahalan. Amy, can you unmute? Oops.
Oh, I think I did. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great, thank you. Amy Cahalan, Florence, Mass. I am speaking with respect to 20.114, the Plastic Reduction and Sustainability Ordinance. While I am supportive of the ultimate goal of this ordinance, I am concerned about the impact this will have on our restaurant community for a number of reasons that I just wanted to share. I'm concerned about this being proposed while we're in the middle of a pandemic and our small independent restaurants are already struggling to stay afloat and keep their doors open each week, especially now that we're headed into the colder weather, which will mean the loss of the outdoor dining and an uncertain holiday season. I'm also concerned about the increased cost that these measures may require of our restaurants. These restaurants are already bearing increased costs, both due to new COVID-related expenses and price increases on their regular items. I'm also concerned about how much input was gathered from the restaurant community. Over the past 24 hours since I became aware of this agenda item, I connected with over 20 of our downtown restaurants, and only 4 or 5 said that they were at all aware of the proposed ordinance. And finally, I'm concerned about the logistics that might be required of such an effort, not only on the part of the restaurant, but on the commercial composting, trash, recycling side. If the restaurants were able to make these changes, I'm not sure that the Commonwealth's trash and recycling capabilities would be able to ensure that the ultimate goal of keeping products out of the landfill could be met. So I and our restaurant community would love to do everything that we can to minimize our environmental impact, but placing this burden on these small businesses at this particular moment in time, or even in the unknown of August 2021, is unrealistic. I'd ask the council use this time to refer the ordinance to committee, seek the input from all of our restaurant owners as well as recycling experts, and see if there's a collective way to achieve the desired outcome in a manner and a time frame that takes into account the current financial and medical landscape and minimizes additional financial and regulatory burdens on our small businesses. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Next, we have Bill Diamond, please. Bill?
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Bill Diamond, and I'm speaking for I'm from Northampton, and I'm speaking for the Unitarian Society Climate Action Group. I'll only talk about polystyrene and only about 3 problems. First, an academic journal called Food Additives and Contaminants described the amount of polystyrene used in food packaging. This includes both rigid and expanded foam, rigid polystyrene and expanded foam. The point of the article is that this number is increasing so fast that the safety standards have to be changed. In 2005, a long time ago, rigid styrene, like what your roaster chicken is in, there were 134 million pounds of polystyrene used for that. Knives, forks, and spoons, 86 million pounds. Foam trays like your raw chicken is in, 300 million pounds. Styrofoam cups, not the rigid ones, but just the foam, weighed 240 million pounds, and there's much more. Of course, polystyrene consumption has increased vastly since 2005. Others, I hope, will talk more about the health effects of it, but a publication of the National Institutes of Health lists short-term effects, including irritation and respiratory effects, and long-term effects, including nervous system effects, kidney effects, and cancer. Second, where does it come from? In 2013, the American Chemistry Council published an excited report focusing on plastics derived by natural gas, including polystyrene. One section started out, shale gas, a game changer for US competitiveness. The report says a new competitive advantage has emerged for chemical manufacturing in the United States as vast new supplies of natural gas from largely untapped shale resources, including the Marcellus along the Appalachian Mountain chain, are leading to massive capital investment and expansion. The problem is that fracked gas is described here as a major contributor to climate change, especially because of the methane and other gases leaking from the infrastructure associated with fracked gas. Cutting down on polystyrene consumption would reduce the need for natural gas, particularly frack gas. And you know we've had groups here working to reduce gas leaks and stop gas pipelines. Decreasing the use of natural gas to manufacture styrene is a way of cutting off the demand for fracked gas. Finally, where does it go? You know that polystyrene is rarely recycled, but you might not know that on August 27th, Interpol released a report entitled Interpol Strategic Analysis on Emerging Criminal Trends in the Global Plastic Waste Market. Organized crime has been illegally getting rid of these difficult to recycle plastics and getting rid of people like the mayor of Lyon, France, who hassle them about
Mr.
this.
Diamond, that's 3 minutes. Could you please just finish your sentence?
Sure. So from the health of individuals to reducing the sources of climate change to not being in league with organized crime, everywhere we look, we see reasons to stop using polystyrene and styrofoam products.
Thank you very much. Okay, next we have Steve Jones.
Thank you very much. My name is Steve Jones. I live in Florence. And I first want to thank Councilors Gina Louise Sciarra, Bill Dwight, and my Ward 4 Councilor John Thorpe for introducing a proposed Northampton City Council resolution in support of and committing to actions to combat the public health crisis of systemic racism. That resolution cites the murder of George Floyd and all too many Black citizens in the United States by police and law enforcement. We can mention Breonna Taylor as well, and also by citizens who are not police, such as the murder of Ahmaud Arbery. Every week, there are more unjustified killings and assaults on Blacks, like the shooting in Kenosha, Wisconsin of Jacob Black. Systemic racism affects our country and public health in less dramatic ways. Redlining and not approving GI Bill mortgages for Blacks contributed to Black poverty. The people in jails and prisons are disproportionately more Blacks and Hispanics than their population numbers. Another Example, in Hampshire and Franklin counties in 2018,